Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now there were a lot of things that happened this week in Pokemon Go and I just kind of wanted to talk about it for a minute. So we had 3 Play Pokemon Circuit regionals, one in Brisbane, one in Stuttgart, and one in Toronto. Now if you're in the Twitterverse for Pokemon Go, you've probably heard about one of these a lot more than the others. So first up, with all the new move changes that were introduced just a few days before these regionals, there was a new meta. So let's go over some of the most used Pokemon and what things are starting to show up in the top 8. So our top 8 finalists are Brown Baller 10, Daxu, Gordon the Flash, Hot Pocket, Jay's Fan 55, Jay Brancy, Magic Mason, and W Dage. So as of now, Medicham and G-Fisk still are 2 of the most used Pokemon, with Lickitung and Trevenant going down due to the new update to flyers like Noctowl. Noctowl, of course, is all over the place, but as far as tried and true staying in the meta since the beginning, G-Fisk and Medicham are still here. Now you probably noticed that there were only 3 Trevenant, 1 Sableye, and 1 Lickitung in the top 8 here, which is totally different compared to before the move update. The grand finalists for this tournament were Brown Baller and Magic Mason, and you might notice they have the exact same team of Noctowl, Trevenant, Medicham, Lantern, Umbreon, and G-Fisk. While both players got their invite to Worlds in Japan, Magic Mason won the grand finals to get that travel award as well. So for those of us at home watching the regionals through Twitch, it appeared very well run from the technical side. The Twitch stream went well, the battles were great, but apparently if you were actually there on the tournament, there was a lot of things behind the scenes that did not go so well. Looking at this tweet here, there were inconsistent rulings, judges giving out incorrect information and advice, faulty communication, Arcanine's website still severely lacking behind interfaces like Sylph and PvPoke, issues for spectators, reported favoritism, penalties for cosmetics like a Best Buddy ribbon, and that's just talking from a handful of people. So some of the things that stand out here are inconsistent rulings and judges giving out incorrect information or advice. Now this is actually not new to this regional. This has happened before and I wouldn't blame the individual judges, as I think it's just a lack of oversight for Pokemon Go as a whole. Now the other thing I find a little more shocking is reported favoritism and penalties for cosmetics like a Best Buddy ribbon. Now, I haven't actually seen any personal accounts of what this was. I know people often complain about like who chooses who gets to play on stream, why do these people not, so that could be about the favoritism. But for penalties for cosmetics like a Best Buddy ribbon, you should be able to report that when you put in your team. I know you have to mark shadow or non-shadow, but I believe you should also be able to mark if it's your Best Buddy or not. So that's a little concerning that that wasn't apparently on the judge's radar. Now, another tweet here shows just, again, another account of lots of inconsistencies, like some players were given breaks when others weren't, and the tables on challenge, the bracket system they use, were being updated late, and then, again, inconsistencies and players being given late penalties for probably like taking a quick bathroom break or whatever. So to sum up those complaints right there, there were a lot of inconsistencies behind the scenes, or on the floor rather, that we as viewers wouldn't have seen on the stream, but they are very concerning from a player's standpoint. A lot of these inconsistencies I do think could be solved with the Go players getting a little more involved in the judging system, then having those players be a little more informed about how the game itself works, so we don't have to keep borrowing judges from other games who might not know as much about Pokemon Go. There are also a lot of issues with the Arcanine website itself, which is what we use right now to register our teams. Several people have screen recorded the process of setting your team, and it really isn't very user-friendly. This has sparked yet another Twitter debate about how user-friendly things should be, and it's just a mess. Now, I would like to point out we have the Sylph Arena as an example of a website made by a non-profit org that is able to set up a very user-friendly experience to set your teams for tournaments. The Arcanine website also doesn't have a search function right now, so when you're putting your whole team in, you have to scroll through every single Pokemon listed alphabetically in order to find it. Now, on top of all of that, there still was one other issue on the floor. And this issue is that the stream, as it was being broadcasted to the venue itself, the volume for Pokemon Go was way too loud. And with a lot of Registeel showing up this tournament, that can't be good. Now you're probably thinking, well, the spectators sitting outside of the Pokemon Go area are there to watch Pokemon Go, so if the volume's a little loud, It's not a big deal. Well, the problem with that is that some of the TCG tables were actually very close to the Pokemon Go stage as well. So while these TCG players are trying to play their game, in the background all they can hear is Registeel going, me, 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 me. Now, we already have VGC players who don't like us, and now TCG players have a Twitter thread about how they don't like Pokemon Go. By this point, you're probably wondering what else could have gone wrong. For those of you who know, you've been waiting for this one. The BM discussion. I'm not here to tell you what to think, I'm going to tell you what happened, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. So one of the players on the main stage at Regionals, on the stream and everything, threw a double resisted move at his opponent in order to get the KO to win the game. Now in Pogo, we do call this BM when throwing a double resisted move that is more energy than throwing a super effective move that could win the game for significantly less energy, such as Sludge Bomb versus Mud Bomb. Now, on top of that, the player who BM'd had already won the game due to his team comp just RPSing the other team comp. RPS in Pokemon stands for Rock, Paper, Scissors, meaning that this team comp already entirely counters and destroys this other team comp, so there's not much player 2 can do to win the game anyway. All of those combined, being on the main stage, already winning through team comp, and then BMing with a double resisted move, someone else goes on Twitter and calls him out and says BMing at regionals is a bad look. So this sparks a huge debate, and there are multiple community leaders and well-known players all arguing whether or not a player should BM. Personally, I'm not going to BM because I want to make sure I win the game. If I'm in a position to win, I'm going to get that win con. I'm here to win. That's what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. If you want to throw, go for it. So many players in many games have actually made it their brand to BM, and it has become a popular way to grow on Twitch. So in GBL, we have one of the most popular streamers who goes by Marto, who has made it his whole bit that he's gonna throw Sludge Bomb at Steel types whenever possible. So he's actually not part of the whole conversation about the player who does this on the regional stream at all, until another streamer comes in and is condemning the regional player for doing it on stream. Now, this other streamer is a big fan and supporter of Marto. So Marto pops in and says, why is it okay then if I do the same thing on my stream? And this is when shit hits the fan, but this streamer's response to Marto is because he knows him. So obviously that's a terrible take. But on top of that, if you're playing in a regional, you are signing an agreement that says you are willing to go on stream and have your picture taken by the Play Pokemon company to be used for promotion and their stream and all of their content. Now, if you're playing GBL, you're not necessarily giving explicit consent to be BM'd on someone's random stream. So it's just kind of funny to see these people condemning the player who does it at an event where everyone has given consent to be on stream, and then supporting the player who's doing it in GBL where the other players have not consented to that and might not even have any idea that they are on someone's stream. All in all, I mean, do whatever you want. I'm not going to BM people in a high stakes match because I'm trying to win, but you do you. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like and let me know in the comments if you're going to be going to any regionals and what your secret pocket pick is going to be. Look out for Lantern.